the Elise for Kirei,
And that
and
too,
then the
yeah.
Alistair for High.
All right, there's one on each side.
The two champions that they win on, but then their teams haven't picked up wins with any other champions or players in that role. So pretty interesting.
Most of the same getting banned out here. We'll expect to see the Elise for the side here on Cloud9's ban. Maybe they wait for the last one. We'll see if Dignitas has any bans to kind of bite them in the butt here. Tahm Kench is the final one to use. You might see that Graves out as well.
Yeah, they played, Cloud9 played Tahm Kench against TSM. It wasn't particularly impressive from Balls' standpoint, but it's still a champion he's put a lot of time into. So you don't just say, oh, he had one game where he wasn't good on it. You look at the history of the player and what they've been playing recently. And Tahm Kench still a viable ban?
Definitely taking their time. Another team that's was locked, I should say, into the middle of the pack with their 2-3 scores. Interflame and Lemon Nation on the board. And the Alistar goes.
Something will happen today that has never happened before.
What's that?
This year. Either Team Dignitas will win with Kirei on a jungler not named Elise, or Cloud9 will win with High on a support not named Alistair. One of these things will happen.
I like it when it comes down to that. Got a lot of firsts. Always enjoy it. We'll see what the first pick is for BillyBoss. What they decide will be a priority pick. The Kalista's up. Apollo's been really actually having a good time, I believe, on the Lucian.
Gangplank is also available.
We had a game where Gangplank wasn't picked or banned yesterday. Is this number 2? It's a little wild to see, but it will be the Graves lock-in first for BillyBoss. There was a bit of discussion going on there for Dignitas, so they're saying this for what? What are they giving up here?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things. Corki's been banned pretty heavily today, and there's the Gangplank. I mean, Cloud9's going to be able to play it. Balls grinded a ton of Gangplank before Worlds even, so he's been experienced on this champion for a while now.
Was that like a Diamond 2 Gangplank or something?
Something like that.
We'll see. I actually like watching the pros use how to use the barrels. Some of them are very, very highly skilled in that. Some, you kind of get one barrel out, and the play really comes from the ultimate cross map. Ball's usually having a global presence on his players. We've seen the Shen lately. Now his Gangplank. See if he can carry a game on it.
Yep.
Jensen may get that Corki mid as it goes. We saw Shiphtur on it just recently. The bans or the picks have really been putting Corki onto the Rift recently. Poppy and Kalista are going to be locked up. I was wondering where Kalista was going to be going. Now in the hands of Apollo.
Yeah, we're really starting to see some very consistent patterns with the top pick champions here. What's happening right now, it feels like, at least in North American picks and bans, there are so many champions that can flex into so many different positions, and it's like this pack of 5 or 10 of them. So teams are literally just trading them and picking down the line of who is powerful, because Gangplank can go top or mid, Corki could go mid or bottom, Poppy can go, you know, jungle or top, Graves can go jungle or top. So you just pick it, and it will fit somewhere in your team composition.
It's like what Immortal said yesterday. I was like, wow, you know, how do you guys come together with a composition like this and just make it work? Because you didn't have much engage going in. He's like, we got it on champions like with OP picks, man. We were able to use them in the positions we had it. And those picks, like you said, continue to revolve in the first set of lock-ins. See what else we have. Morgana Nidalee is going to be locked in. Rush will try his hand on that once again.
Yeah, and once you get through those champions, then you get to the actual formative picks of the team composition. And in this case, it's Morgana and Nidalee, which again puts Cloud9 in a very poke-based team. Rush has been playing a lot of Nidalee, has not been finding many wins on Nidalee. He's had 2 poor Nidalee games so far this year. Also had poor Nidalee games at the IEM Cloud9 attended a few months ago. And they're really dead set on making these poke compositions work. This will be attempt number 3 for them.
Well, they keep letting him play it. He still gets his aggressive moves in. It's just that seems like the communication wasn't there for the follow-up on those plays. Maybe it'll be the target that gets bound by Morgana this time. Everybody will be on board. Nobody gets too far ahead of themselves with what is set in motion. Apollo and KiWiKid now rounding out. We're going to see a possible mid laner support. So that is going to be Graves Poppy wherever it switches. Graves in the jungle, Poppy in the jungle. Some Thresh play from KiWiKid.
All right. I'm excited about the LeBlanc right now because there are so many squishy targets potentially on Cloud9. However, Cloud9 does have some options here. Morgana's a champion that has been picked mid as a counter to LeBlanc, and they already have it. But I don't think they want Jensen on Morgana. I feel like they want him on something else. They want high on Morg. But they do have that option now.
Jensen could choose to, I don't know, I'd say Victor.
Yeah, Victor's one of his best champions, and you can play the lane and still win against LeBlanc. He actually has done that, I believe, already this year. It was LeBlanc that he stomped on last week on his Victor game. Lissandra also can lock down LeBlanc quite easily. How are they going to swap these around? Because you can actually put Gangplank mid lane if you really want to. But they're going to swap it around and have Gangplank.
Final. This is what we're looking at.
So many different options. It could have been the Corki mid, too. Right? That's very, very hard to read and counterpick properly. Currently in League of Legends.
Right now, Cloud9 has 3 picks in GP, Lissandra, and Corki that are normally bad. So I'd say that's a pretty great draft. As well, Poppy Graves on the other side, and that Kalista. So, namely 3 and 3. These guys are working with some pretty powerful picks that we talked about revolving in that top 10. And now we are going to see who can use them better on the Rift.
Yeah, we had yesterday, Immortal said that he's
They got the 20-second swap in. Jensen has Gangplank middle.
Yep.
And Lissandra is top lane.
They did the old switcheroo.
Swappy swap.
We have until 20 seconds on the timer. They did just at the last second, I think. They weren't late on it.
Hopefully not.
I didn't see it. If they were late, the referees would have caught it.
Yes. So. All right, friends, Romans, countrymen, lead me your tweets. Send your predictions for this match to @LOL Esports with the hashtag DIG win. It's easy to talk today. That's DIG win or hashtag C9 win to @LOL Esports. Hopefully your 140 characters are a lot better than the way I articulate. So
when you read it, you always pronounce things properly. It's mana, not mana, is how a tweet would read. But
you're going to get it going now.
When you write it, it's the same.
They're already rowdy enough. We're going to get a discussion, a debate going on. All right, we're going to be on the Rift. Dig versus Cloud9. Week 3, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get the action rolling. Some quick games we have seen here in the past few weeks. Fastest week of LCS in the NA last week. Or yesterday, I should say. Not last week.
Yeah. And even with all the perception of people thinking that the games were super long in weeks 1 and 2, on average, games have been shorter every week of the competitive season when compared to last split. So the average has been down. We have had some games that go long, but there's always games that go long. This is the week where we're really seeing a pretty steep decrease in games, and some of that is due to luck, but overall the average will still trend downwards. Unless changes are made, we think.
What happened?
Look at that solo mission by Sneaky.
You could say that.
Yeah.
It is sneaky.
It was very sneaky because he got around the 4 people on Team Dignitas that were going for the deep wards, and he's going to actually get the starter ward to see where Kirei starts. Sneaky little move, but I don't think that really leads to many advantages outside of them knowing where Graves will be very early on into the game. Rush likes to do this every time. He just sets up as many traps as possible early in the jungle to maximize the speed of his first jungle clear. And Sneaky and High are giving him damage with which Rush will still take the full set of experience.
Nope.
Let's get that last hit in.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, Rush is very good at all the little intricacies on jungle Nidalee, like animation canceling. Right after he throws a spear, he throws the trap down so he gets everything out as quickly as possible. Also, he gets jump resets every time he walks something over an old trap. So he's really just very, very, very fast and good at Nidalee.
And another great jungler, Graves, with those shell knockbacks. Very, very healthy in his way around the jungle. All the tricks of the trade. You see him right here. So just to camp behind now, looks like Rush did get a bit quicker of a movement, and he's going to utilize that speed. Hopefully he's not seen by the Kalista Ghost as he moves through the jungle, but he's going to look, get right on top of this red, and it just turned around as he got there. He may, however, meet up with Kirei, but Kirei, wow, right under his nose.
Yeah. When you're doing a full clear, oftentimes you want to wait on the red buff because you want the maximum efficiency, and he's out before Kalista sees him.
Wow, that's Rush. So Thunderlord's across as well for C9. But yeah, go ahead.
Rush full cleared his jungle, made it all the way down, jumped through and got to the red, and you can only do that quickly. Notice about a second after he left, Kirei was going to be able to go and check that. So because of the hundreds of games that Rush has played on Nidalee, to maximize all the little things of that jungle clear, he actually missed out a little bit because sneaky and high, he couldn't track the damage they did. So like the one auto attack wasn't quite perfect on
Right, yeah, the ending when he tried to walk away.
Yeah, but all the stuff that Rush does just with himself on Nidalee is hyper clean.
Yep. And
because he did that quickly is what gave him that small window of opportunity to make it in before Graves could get to the red buff. Very nicely done.
And QC Kirei as well saying, well, I got to make something of this work. I got less of my bottom jungle. I'm going to try to make a play, and he eats a binding immediately. Oh. That's going to be the flash off. KiWiKid actually held onto that play. It looks like you're going to be able to work that for the next 5 minutes in the bot lane. 8:40 about High's flash will come back up. We'll see how Kirei adjusts to his red buff being missed. So far, gank bottom has been thwarted.
Yeah. As far as pacing goes, he's pretty far behind already.
Right. He needed that a lot.
Yeah, it's 300 gold that Rush has farmed in the jungle that Kirei hasn't been able to farm. But they know they have the flash down. And Rush is currently trading Gromps around. Wow.
He's going to go pretty deep here. Yeah. Find himself Wolf and then try to take Gromp, even with the knowledge that his ward was seen by Cloud9s when they warded.
Yep.
And so, okay, he smites out for the Wolf Spirit.
The thing is, that intel probably should have been passed back and forth, which is what's allowing Rush to just continue farming in this jungle clear. And they just traded one camp for two, which is not what they wanted. Now it's about Jensen. Can
holding the orange.
But the wall hits hard.
Few more shots. He ignites on. That's not going to be enough. He has a potion going as well. Jensen makes it out. Flash and teleport was just used to get back to lane. So if that gets pushed, he misses a wave.
Yeah, very timely gank, but ultimately not a kill. They burn their flash. Jensen has to burn both of his summoners, and he's actually sticking around. Whew. Oh dear. He has the time, so he just come back, so he does have full stacks of corruption potion, and he doesn't want to give up the experience.
Good point.
Dangerous hook.
Quick exhaust. Sneaky can't really get past the minions with shots or the mana for Frost Bomb, so he pulls off. A few summoners using the bot lane. And a bit of miscommunication. Rush is just going ham. Power farming, 28-16 in that farm regard over Kirei right now, and really trying to have an impact on the map here.
He is, but the other big impact in the game is KiWiKid in the bottom lane landing a couple death sentences onto High, forcing flash, kind of slowly burning all the summoners, exhaust down, heal down, just the flash onto Sneaky. Meanwhile, KiWiKid has only had to burn that ignite, and that is all culminated in what was, before they went back to base, a 15 CS advantage in the bottom lane, which is quite substantial and is doing some work to try and make up the speed discrepancy between Rush's Nidalee and Kirei's Graves.
Right. Also just like what Kirei's Graves did, pulling the Raptor down out of it, and his smite was not triggered on the ward Rush tried to cheekily place inside that pit. Usually you see people trying to blow the Raptor vision. He got out. So sneaky little move. Rush, control of scuttles, pretty much extra gold for him.
Wow.
Movement around the map for Nidalee is that much better. Damage being bought up here, as we would figure from Kirei. Rush has that Tracker's Knife already out with High on the roam towards mid lane here. And he's just doing that. That's it.
Just Rush's speed run in the jungle. Level 6 by 5 minutes and 54 seconds. Super fast. I don't think he took lane experience for any of that.
No, it did seem it.
Yeah, all jungle.
Trying to remember if he got back. We just saw him in lane, but he was walking past Jensen, really.
Yeah. Now maybe he'll gank, since he's farmed up until level 6.
There's a ping from KiWiKid. Shiphtur still has the distort to get out and double if he wants to. Mimic that. High reads it. He's going to have another one. He's going to use it, but very nicely done there to get some out of Shiphtur.
Oh, Billy.
Ultimate up on the balls, and he gets knocked down. Flashes with the auto already in swing.
Wow, that was a massacre for balls right there. He didn't return damage, burned his flash, still died, and got him that low. That is not a good sign. He had a CS advantage because he'd been shoving Billy up into the turret for most of the lane, but it looked like Billy had gone back for a Spectre's Cow, and balls just hadn't matched with his recall yet. Cost him a kill. Overstayed.
Nope. Oh, just on the edge. So the movement here from BillyBoss on this Poppy in the top lane. He was 2-4-3 as their win over Impulse just yesterday. He's been doing good things for the team. There are questions about him, but he seems to be stepping up. We're looking now, this Cloud9 high on Morgana, as well as Kirei's Graves. Remember those two we were talking about, not Alistar and not Elise. A quick black shield saves him, but I don't think they would have taken that anyways. Good pressure from Dignitas, though, to keep Cloud9 pressuring the bot lane.
Really big advantage from this Apollo and KiWiKid lane. Not only a CS advantage, but an experience advantage. With a level 6 Kalista, they can make a lot of plays. Oh, pink ward. Well, at least let them know he's there. That's the thing. Last season, it was much more punishing to get a pink ward killed because it was much more expensive, and you could also otherwise place stealth wards that you buy in base.
Right.
This year, the fact that you can only buy the pink ward and that it's 75 gold, it's almost like a half-price pink ward from last year. So getting them down is really punishing. It takes, getting them down is not nearly as punishing to have them killed as it was last season, since they're so cheap.
Yeah.
And since you're still getting the vision anyway, with which you couldn't otherwise have had.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as bad to move one up if you have to either. I'm wasting it, but this could die faster. It's all kind of takes away the problem of it. Looking at about an 800 gold lead right now in for Cloud9. And this is one of the first times we've actually seen High and Sneaky pushing back towards the turret. See how they act there. No pressure from Kirei on this one, but pressure mid from Rush.
He's a higher level. Rush is a higher level than both mid laners right now. But he still hasn't had an influence over the game. He needs to be able to find these fights. He makes it up to top lane faster than you expect because of that speed shrine. Here they go.
Oh, the claw in. Alerted BillyBoss. Uses W. Gets himself out safely. Will Rush stay for more jungle? He pings in. He says, I'm going to go find myself a blue buff, but also a Kirei. Misses that smoke. End of the line damage goes in. He got it. He got blue buff. The Rush gets away with it. Trying to steal it. Shiphtur goes in. He throws one more sigil. Rush over the wall. And Rush goes down. Shiphtur able to pick that up.
Yeah, who really got blue buff is Shiphtur.
Yes.
Because of the patience from Kirei. And it punishes Rush's relentless playstyle on Nidalee. You know he's going to go there. Rush has a very one-track mind when he's farming on Nidalee. It's, I can go anywhere.
Yeah.
And I will without hesitation, because it's all about efficiency for him. But honestly, that's just well countered there by Team Dignitas. Kirei waited for him to hop in, got the Q against the wall, and then barely Shiphtur's able to finish him with all of his summoners at Ignite. But it still counts. They get the kill on a high experience, high level Rush, which means it gives more experience than it would normally, since he's actually out leveling the opponent.
Yeah,
and they get the blue buff back for their mid laner. Really well done.
Maybe he thought he had a little bit more protection from Jensen or whatnot, but it's not that easy to stop a LeBlanc, especially if you know crowd control lane. I saw Shiphtur just pick that up. A guy we've been looking to kind of carry the team. We know him for getting those triple kills in fights, very impactful fights, and being the guy to have a 4-0-4 scoreline somewhere in the mid game. This looks like it could be one of those.
Yeah.
Hot lane in pressure. Gonna get some good tormented soil down.
Corki has hit Sheen and gotten the missiles. So the poke is becoming quite powerful in that bottom lane. Doing their best to catch up, but the CS advantage was pretty huge.
Yeah.
It's hard to get it back just by shoving. The nice thing about Graves in Nidalee is as much as Nidalee will farm, Graves still has kill pressure because his burst is just so incredibly high. Of course, Rush has the farm pressure. And we've seen in the past Rush have some really dominating games on Nidalee, but this year it just hasn't been the case. We haven't seen him take over a game yet like he used to on Team Impulse last year.
There's not enough fear from the opponents as he runs into lane. They kind of will stay and still try to make a play on it, or will be ready to counter it instead of avoid it.
Yeah, teams are much more predictive of his aggression this year. Got to find new ways to work on this because it feels like he's very one-dimensional thus far.
It shouldn't take too long if he can kind of go in the way he's learned before. He's very hard on himself, and he tries to escalate his ability to play as quick as possible, whether it be champion pool mechanics or helping the team, kind of getting the team going. But you're right, he's always a guy that wants to do things. That's what he says in interviews. I always want to do things. I want to make plays. I want to make things happen, and Nidalee allows him to do that. Hasn't been able to affect too many lanes just yet. Only himself. And now the bot lane pressure here. He's just waiting in the wing, but it's going to be the Fates call in. KiWiKid goes for the hook. Flay that gets Sneaky. Lock him down. Kirei gets that first kill. And now Balls comes in. He's really able to just kind of deter the fight. I think Kiwi should live, but no. It's a hit from Jensen on the barrel. And now Dignitas is actually looking to turn away from this fight with a whole bunch of burst damage coming from Cloud9.
Double TP by Cloud9, which is why they're able to get more people down there. But now Shiphtur has joined the fray to attempt to defend this turret. It's a 5v5 extended in the bot lane.
Pulled exhaust, not too bad, just for distortion. And the turret looks like it will stand as everybody starts to disperse. Balls is going to back on a ward. They see that, but no worries. And double TP is definitely what Cloud9's been waiting for. They've held their breath until this long. Everybody hit it real fast.
Yeah, and Team Dignitas saw rush, and they were looking for a 4v3 counter gank. But Cloud9 can just as easily match, except they match with 2 teleports. So while Sneaky is bursted down, so is basically KiWiKid, who's standing right next to Kirei. But then because Cloud9 had 5 people there before Team Dignitas did, they got a bunch of damage down to BillyBoss. But at the end of the day, it was still just a trade.
That turret falls. Looks, did he teleport back? No, his teleport was to the play. That's right. So we walk back to lane with Claw, gets bottom TP or bottom turret, and we'll see how they continue to clean up the map with mid not being down. And just to leave Shiphtur in there to clean up all these waves that Jensen puts into the turret. It shouldn't be too hard. So good game again for Dignitas. Everybody that needs to get kill participation has done so, and the only death is KiWiKid.
Oh, watch out high. Just gotta get one more shot, and then he could burst him. Ooh.
100 health.
Actually, 2 more shots, apparently. Because he did get the 1 more shot. He was a little too far away on that last shot. The closer you are as Graves, you can hit with all 3 of the pellets to do more damage. Very good attempt there by Kirei to get the kill. Will force high into a recall.
Cloud9 panning back out into lanes. What are we looking for from this composition? It's another one that kind of doesn't say we're diving you, we're fighting you that much. They also have balls to split push if they want. How does this work?
Right, well for Cloud9, it has to be a clean initiation because they've actually had this archetype for a team composition where they'd have 2 tanks and then 3 pokers. This game, they just have 5 people who can poke, or 4 people who can poke hard, and then 1 person who can hard initiate. So basically Cloud9 will want to set up outside of a turret, throw Nidalee spears, throw dark bindings, let Sneaky throw missiles, and then if they ever have a numbers advantage and want to really push the dive home, you have the Lissandra come in the backside on top of a Gangplank ultimate and go, and if they try and engage on you, you make them walk into the Gangplank barrels and try and turn around that way. Cloud9's composition is basically an overload of damage, but it's highly poke and push oriented.
Actually saw a bit of those ultimates overlapping each other with Balls and Jensen throwing down the Glacial Tomb and Gangplank's ult. And pretty much the same circle size. Just all that damage right in the same zone.
Gangplank ultimate is terrifying.
It's and you can lead it if you want a huge slow path. You have 2 giant slow circles that the team has to run through.
And then if you look at Team Dignitas, they need Shiphtur to be really on top of his game, but it's going to be difficult because he's against Lissandra. So if he ever tries to land one of those big game-changing distortion and mimic distortions on top of the team, he either dies to a Dark Binding or he dies to a Lissandra ultimate in the process. So he's really got to be careful on the outside of the fights. Generally, he'll want BillyBoss to lead in, create some chaos, and then allow Shiphtur to pick off isolated targets.
Too many minions just in the front for anybody to get a pull, to get a pick, or a chain. Cloud9 pretty much dictating the mid lane. Should be able to get a few more shots on this turret if there's no more pressure, which is a rotation from Apollo coming up from the bottom lane right now. He may just be warding for himself.
Yeah, this is their numbers advantage, so they're going to be looking to land a poke shot and get as much turret damage as possible.
That stings. I don't want to give it up that easy, that's for sure. There is a package in base for Sneaky to have. He currently is outside of base right now as those just spawned. And I think he's actually going to go get one. So that'll help their mid engages more if they try to, or if they want to get something down. Lane pushed by Balls. He goes back. We'll see where he starts to go.
Absolutely. Zooming out down the bottom side is Corki. Wonder if he'll try to get a gank off with that. It's pretty tricky targets to gank in this game. You don't want to go trying to assault LeBlanc. Apollo would be a good choice, though, if he ever finds it. The split push, though, here from Team Dignitas, they have the ward coverage heavily in the blue side and around Baron. And
Oh, a party.
yeah.
Oh, just a troll steal.
Sneaky going down the bottom side actually wasn't that great a call because they had no vision control on the other side, and they're very vulnerable to a push here. If not for that pesky Gangplank ultimate that totally takes out the wave.
Bot lane, is they going to stay? There's pings down in the bot side here. They're kind of saying we can stay with this if we go even harder. But if we don't, then they're going to lose a lot because you're going to get Poppy down on the bot side right now. So Sneaky, okay, uses the payload to get up towards that red.
Yeah, didn't have much time left on it, so wanted to use it for mobility.
Here we go.
And they out-rotate.
Right, draw the pressure
in small
down.
part because of that.
And then get the mid
Yep.
lane.
So that was big. That whole play was turned on the Gangplank ultimate top lane. Cloud9 didn't have the appropriate people in top lane to stop a big push, so they throw a Gangplank ultimate down. And since Team Dignitas had then invested 4 people top lane, there was now pressure in mid and bottom. They chose to respawn to bottom lane, but Sneaky had the mobility to move mid, and they take top lane. And they're still behind on the play, so Cloud9 ends up getting 2 turrets.
Yeah, and this is perfect time for it to happen for Cloud9 too. Triforces are up, running. That spiked crush turrets is there. And a little bit of love on the TP. That's going to be finished by BillyBoss.
Yeah.
He's also just going to hang out in the same spot as a quick binding from high comes out to stop anything there.
Now, while that TP was farther than his teleport in week 1,
They're getting bigger.
it was equally as effective.
Yeah.
Not very effective. Well ahead of his team, highly telegraphed, and face full of dark binding.
He's specifically a TP zoning professional.
Yeah.
Good try for the clear. You don't want that. He'll just orange away. Oh my word. Jensen's doing quite a bit of damage right now. We really haven't seen him put out parlays straight to the face, but KiWiKid figured out how much damage it's doing. And now they're starting to push up. If they can get to this next turret, like I just mentioned, we have those Triforces up, and it's going to be tough. Rod of Ages are also stacking up right now.
Oh, that's a huge binding. Kirei the wave clear.
Oh, back. He's able to get out of it. Whoa, BillyBoss going for Sneaky. It's Jensen Sneaky in a 2v1, and he is making it happen. Now it's a 3v1, and he may just be getting another kill on this. Doesn't have the range. No, he flashes in, gets the hammer shock down. Where's the next hit? Ultimate is already down for the previous play. Apollo over the wall now. They are not giving up on this. And as the 20-minute mark hits, looks like Dignitas can start running free.
Yeah, they make a big play right there at the 20-minute mark. It all actually started when Kirei took the Dark Binding, but they were able to back him up. Graves tanky enough not to get bursted down, and Cloud9 actually overcommitted while trying to follow for the Dark Binding and gets punished with some deaths.
Whew. Cloud9 felt very strong going into that push, and it just seemed like they felt a little too confident. All it takes is one hit. The binding gave them false sense of security. BillyBoss getting big, though. They definitely have to respect what he can now do to the fight.
Yeah.
He took on the entire team right there.
Behind in CS, but he is the tank against a bunch of squishies, so when he runs into the team, they do have to respect him. Either they all have to burst damage on him, or they all have to run. And if he's actually initiating in synchrony with his damage dealers, it's a recipe for success.
Oh, the spear. It's not going to be the eagle eye throw. Just misses. Spooky's on the backside of Rush. He hits the next one, though.
All that farming, finally, Rush is able to get a spear land to jump in for a kill. Whoa.
Nope. No blue for Rush. Just trying to steal it anyways. There's still one alive on the other side of the map. It may just be his for more spear poke. It's not like you have to really give it to anyone else unless Boss is doing some crazy split pushing. But right now, they have to be afraid if Poppy, or yeah, BillyBoss, if Poppy were to engage on his own terms, he's making trouble. Dragon is live, Baron is live. We've only seen one Dragon go down so far. Rod of Ages stacking up now for Cloud9, so they have a little bit of time to wait for more power.
Yeah, and if we just look at traditional team fighting roles as well, BillyBoss's strength on a tank is super, super important because in games where tanks don't exist, tanks can become much stronger. All of the poke damage that Cloud9 needs to land if they want to deal with the damage dealers of Team Dignitas has to make it through BillyBoss in some way. Although, when he's completely on his own, doesn't do much. Can you get one? Nope.
He's going to push in. That helps him gain a little bit of distance. I don't know if he's got the rest. So Kirei actually doing what he can to help, and he may put himself in a real bad spot. He's slowed. Sneaky doesn't have a package to get forward. Whew, Kirei actually goes low. Mid lane's getting pushed right now by both Apollo and KiWiKid. I'm sorry, Shiphtur and KiWiKid, as Apollo is top lane.
Yeah, so really they don't have the forces to split push that up either. That was just an uncoordinated play by Team Dignitas, and Cloud9 is able to punish. You can see how difficult it is for them to chase down the Poppy, but if there is no one to back him up and do damage to Cloud9 while they are trying to kill the Poppy, his tank stats are useless.
KiWiKid goes into warding and security mode, so he puts that down inside the jungle. Now it is Apollo, who has a lot of safety to work with this top turret in a bit of time. Home guards just started 3 minutes ago, so these second-tier turrets a little bit easier to save for Cloud9. They should be able to get this one and protect it. See this fight one more time for BillyBoss.
Yeah, you can see they respect the Poppy ultimate, and he was trying to get sneaky back without the black shield, and then maybe he could have ran away from Rush and Jensen. But Kirei also came to help, which ends up splitting the damage of Cloud9 a little bit. Enough spears land, though, for Rush that he can eventually pounce on for the kill. And BillyBoss was just up there when no other pressure was apparent on the map. Just not a smart place to be when you're considering where the rest of your team is.
They may be getting pushed in once again here. They won't have Kirei right off the bat. He's trying to back at Wolves, but it seems like he gets stopped with the knowledge that the ward was being cleared. Yeah, that's a dangerous path to take. But Dig gets himself safely into position. So back and back go Dig towards their base. Cloud9 starting to move these wards up. Been very methodical, but only just a few minutes ago we saw BillyBoss take control of this exact fight. Will they be able to do it again? Now it's Shiphtur over the wall. He goes back. He didn't find the correct target. Kirei gets hit, and he is marked, but they cannot follow. Rush
BillyBoss behind him.
Billy is back. He teleported right into the mid lane, and they go straight for Jensen. They take down that true damage. He gets the ultimate on 3 people, and it's a quick hit. Knocks him straight up into the air. The claw back for Balls. He tries to get into a good spot and delivers the pain back to BillyBoss. The scatter from Cloud9 has kind of got Dig every which way as well, but Cloud9 still has to be very careful.
Nice decisiveness by Team Dignitas there. As soon as Cloud9 went to set up the siege, they forced the fight with the teleport in from the backside. Exactly what you want to do. They only get 2 kills, though, so now the question will be how much ground can they take with all the low people of Cloud9 while they heal?
Doesn't look like the wave is actually that close. The better choice is to deny resources in the jungle, so Rush comes out to absolutely nothing here. Good push by Dig. It seems like they can always find a way back in when things are at their worst.
Yeah, so Shiphtur doesn't get bound going in on the first. That's a good step, but Kirei gets pushed back very quickly in the first wave. Really, this shows you how hard it is for Cloud9 to deal with BillyBoss. There were 5 people staring him in the face, and they did not have the confidence of being able to kill him. Point blank ultimate gives a delay for the rest of Team Dignitas to catch up, but they still can't quite convert on these kills. He pushes one further away. BillyBoss was 1 auto attack away from killing high, but the ultimate stunned him and he'd missed his chain.
Yeah.
So a bunch of near kills could have been much more disastrous. But at the end of the day, that was a 2-for-1 for Team Dignitas, where they burned their teleport advantage and didn't take a turret on the backside. It could have gone much better for them.
Yeah, a little bit cleaner and a few more takedowns. It would have netted them that mid into much more forward warding to set up some more plays. Apollo will be able to safely make it out. He takes a chunk. And Dignitas right now fighting Cloud9 and fighting the vote. Cloud9 with a lot of vote here from the community. They're trying to put it down. Having High here in the bot lane, playing much better than he did in his bronze game to help set things up. Communication seems to be there for Cloud9, but Dig is finding the errors that Cloud9 is making in these small calls. Cloud9 really doesn't have the chance right now to give up continuing this push, or they just feed Dig with minions.
True, and they had teleport advantage right there, which is why they were trying to make a move over to Baron, but they just do not have the tank presence to threaten enough of that. They do have the poke presence, though.
Oh! That's a heal. That's a shield. That's a sated
Balls made it in
as well. That's 1 ult. That's only 1 ult. That still leaves a lot of crowd control and catch up for the rest of the team. Balls could use the ultimate. No, it is down already. BillyBoss getting hit. He's marked. but it was already used by Rush. He cannot get in on that jump as it's down, and it looks like they will start to head up and get some vision over towards Baron, something they have a little bit of already, and they can utilize to really stretch Dig thin here.
And they still have BillyBoss to teleport down, so they know they've sent him back to base. There are not many people who can stop this. It is Shiphtur and KiWiKid who are front line to try and stop this Baron that's now only at 3,000 health.
Apollo's not going to be able to get that many Rens in, or Spears, I should say.
Oh, spooky ghosts.
That's the slow they need. If he can hit it, it's going to give the speed to Rush. Fate's Call pulls him out. Rush would have had the bush movement speed to really capitalize on that. Coming up on 30 minutes here, Cloud9 gets Baron. They start forcing their way down mid, and it does not look like a great comp here for Dignitas to clear those Baroned up minions.
They did not want to get flanked, though, with how low Balls was up top there.
Spooky. No damage, no damage received.
Oh. You need to do damage to interrupt the recall. That's why the smoke screen did not get him. Hi.
Bye.
He makes the calls for everyone. Why did he call for him to recall last? No, that was unfortunate. Just a little bit slow on the recall there from Hyde. This was a huge amount of poke that landed.
The TP
Jensen with the barrel through the wall is critical. The TP from the flank into a flash. Make sure Kiwi goes down. But then the continued chase doesn't get all that much. They're still struggling to really close this one home. High and Sneaky couldn't quite make it in time. But they still get the Baron out of it, so overall a very successful play.
These fights, this right here is the fight that Cloud9 would need. We see all these extended ones. I mean, for both teams, after the first crowd control is used, it's hard for them to
gotta
capitalize.
run.
But that's what I was talking about, having an area where they can use both of those ultimates from Lissandra and Gangplank and not just have people run out immediately.
Being able to lock people down in those two ultimates, especially if you can get a Gangplank barrel and some Corki missiles on top of that, would be the game at this point, because we're 30 minutes in. Death timers are much longer. Turrets can melt like paper to all this damage, and especially with the Baron on Cloud9, they can get this work done quickly. Team Dignitas needs to get in position to stop this push because they do not want their base to be in shambles.
Everybody's coming out right now. Home guards are on. Kirei looking to deter to the right. Balls has Zanya's and Glacial Tome. Not the target they instantly want, but getting him to half before anything starts is still good. He goes right to the back line. They're going to be able to take down Shiphtur immediately. No summoners or ult even used for him. Rush claws down Apollo, and he's out of the fight. Kirei almost gets a spear, but it's going to be the red buff to burn him down. And Rush diving in for a triple kill.
And guess what? They're dead for 45 seconds apiece. That was a 3 for 0. These are Baron minions. This is going to be the game, Riv.
You said it may as well very be the game if they were able to get the fight, and it very well is the game. That's the second Nexus turret going down. It was a bit back and forth, but an even game overall. 9-9, and the last gold surge for Cloud9 puts them up about 8,000 gold, allowing them to take that Nexus. And did you know, the extra 50s in their pocket. Dignitas takes down Cloud9.
And it took all the way until the end of the game. But Rush got that triple kill on the Nidalee. It was definitely not all about the Nidalee. It was a team effort overall for Cloud9.
Yeah.
And it was a tough fight because at the end of this one, it was still just 9 kills to 9. Team Dignitas had multiple fights where they were very close to closing down on the squishy targets of Cloud9. And then on the backside, Cloud9 was just barely unable to close down when they had the advantage on Team Dignitas until the deciding fight in front of Team Dignitas' base with Baron. So all the ingredients were there for a victory. They get the clean kills finally and push home for the win.
Smiles on the face as well. A lot of the games we have seen have been struggles for Cloud9. The one versus TSM, neck and neck, and then that mistake at the end where you fought so hard to lose. You kind of begrudgingly smile those wins. These ones you can be happy about. You can take away the bad things and know, yeah, that was bad, but we still were able to correct it immediately in the game.
Yeah. With their 3-3 record, that means they've had 3 Saturday losses and 3 Sunday wins. So, I mean, people talk about high bunny. No, Saturday or Sunday. That is clearly the day for Cloud9
of the week.
Still, all smiles when they win.
Yeah.
Bubba and Lemon coaching and analyst staff on stage as well. And like we said, this is a very close game, so you're happy to win those nail biters.
Dignitas as well, showing glimmers of hope within their play.